Okay, perfect. So why cities are so critical in your studies?
The fundamental reason why cities have been able to come back in the West after having such a dark period 30 years ago, and why they're so critical in the developing world, is that cities serve as forges of human capital, as engines of innovation. Cities have always had the capacity to connect smart people, who then become smarter by learning from each other, setting off chains of innovation, such as the one that created Greek philosophy and the connection between Socrates and Plato and the Eastern philosophers who came in before them, or the connections that created the Italian Renaissance, or the connections that enabled New York to come back 40 years ago. But by working together, by learning from each other, we build on each other and become smarter than the sum of our parts. The most important fact, the most important feature of new technologies and globalization has been the rise and returns to skill, that talent has become more important than ever, and we've become talented by connecting with other people and by learning from them. And that's really the magic that cities work. This is particularly important in the developing world, where cities are the conduits, the passageways between the knowledge of the West and the growing economies of India and China, where places like Bangalore or Shanghai or Hong Kong are places where people are transferring knowledge, transferring insight, and learning how to turn a formerly third world economy into a first world economy. And they're basically about making knowledge and making innovation.
And don't you think that technology innovation could give us the opportunity to break the concept of physical cities and to spread cities all over?
It takes a lot of technology to make up for millennia of human evolution, right? We are a social species, and this is in some sense the reason why this festival is here. That in fact we like to be next to each other and learn from each other, and we acquire so much more information from getting the cues of being right on top of each other. There is in fact an argument that face-to-face contact and electronic contact are complements rather than substitutes. That in fact because we're able to connect with each other, we've built a more interactive world, we've built a more knowledge-intensive world, and that actually makes face-to-face contact learning more important. And I think one of the pieces of evidence which corroborates this view is that, in some sense, the most famous geographic clusters in the modern age are the most technology-intensive. Silicon Valley, Bangalore, places that have, if any place has access to the great new information technologies of the world, that's it. And yet they still value being right on top of each other, because there is still knowledge to be gained at close proximity. And if you think about the people who really are working off in Montana in the wilds of nowhere doing call centers, these are, yes, you can do that in a way that you couldn't do it 100 years ago, 50 years ago. But it's not the most information intensive, it's not the most innovative aspects. For that, you want to be right next to each other. And that's...
So we still need eyes contact.
I think so.